Hey guys, it's Selina with Eufaula Area Art, the Eufaula Artalks, and what you're seeing here are some artwork by Jon Tiger of Eufaula. He is a full-blood Muskogee Creek citizen. And this is some of his art. I'm gonna wait just a few minutes and see if we have some people hop on. Give you a chance to see all this beautiful work. And then we're going to interview with Jon today and learn a little bit more about his work, about him. Okay, we got people watching. Hey, Catherine, thanks for joining us today. I'm gonna turn around here, guys. We saw Glenna. We're here in the art studio on Main Street in Eufaula. You can see all the different artwork on the walls. Appreciate you guys joining us today. And we're gonna get started. Oh. Let me switch the camera around. There we go. There I am in full view here. Okay. All right. Sorry about all that, guys. Thanks for joining us. I have with us today on Art Talk Jon Tiger, who, like I said, is from Eufaula, and he has been an artist for 50 years.
Next year, I guess.
Next year, about 50 years. Let me pull this up a little bit so I can see you. You're sitting in the dark there. There we go. Okay. All right. As you know, this is really informal, but we started this talk every Tuesday here. Same station, same time, 1 o'clock on Tuesdays for Art Talk, where we talk to different artists in our community or that have contributed to our community. And so today we invited Jon to come because, of course, one of the important things in our community is our native culture.
Yes.
And I was reading your bio, very impressive. A lot. You've traveled a lot. You've been to a lot of places, and you've gotten a lot of awards. And we'll talk about a little bit of that later. You went to school at Eufaula, I take it?
Went to school at Eufaula all the way up to like the 10th or 11th grade, I can't remember, but then I transferred to Sequoia Indian School.
Oh.
And that was because they had an art class there, and Eufaula didn't offer that at the time.
Yeah.
One of my claims of fame here in Eufaula is that I was a teammate of the Selman brothers, football players, Hall of Famers in the NFL. So, but
wow.
We were good friends.
Yeah. I want to talk about what you mentioned on not having an art class, because that is one of the things that a lot of people talk about, especially our art community, how important that is to have that. What is your thoughts on that?
Well, I think we ought to, we should help young kids coming up and to show their creativity, and not just through art, painting, but maybe singing and musical instruments. Mm-hmm. Anything that creative avenue that's out there. And I myself learned how to play the guitar when I was in Sequoia School, because a friend of mine, my roommate, he got a guitar and he started playing on it, and I was interested in that. And that's just how it goes with the younger kids, that we see other kids doing it, and then they in tune want to do the same or learn more about it. So.
Yeah, I think it's real important. I think there's been times when I was at school, we had art for a little bit, mm-hmm. but it seems like something that goes to the wayside pretty quick.
Yeah.
So what made art click for you?
Well, when I was a kid, 4, 5 years old, my grandmother, she raised me, and my grandparents raised me, and we live out in a rural area called Artacy, southwest of Eufaula. And she noticed that I was drawing on the walls, and we had an older house and been there for years when we moved in it. Yeah, but it was on my grandfather's allotment. My grandfather was Benny B. Scott, and my grandmother was Susie Scott. And she noticed that I was drawing on the wall because the floor was real cold in the wintertime. And so she encouraged me to stay on the bed till the day got warmer. And then she was the one that really encouraged me to stay with the arts, and to take care of my hands. And my brothers Ben, Eufaula, George, and Mitchell, and Norman, they were all boxers under Dave Cummings and Jack Belcher, the coach. She would not let me come be a part of that because she said, take care of your hands and take care of your head. Take care of your head.
Wow.
And but you know, that meant a lot to me, and she, through the years, she encouraged me. And as a growing up, the Institute of American Indian Arts came about in I believe it was 1964. They were federally funded through the Pueblo properties in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And that's when I turned, I think I was 16 years old when I went out there to the Institute of American Indian Arts of 1971. And I've got to meet a lot of fellow artists out there at the time.
Yeah. Wow. Now, what year was it that you won that first award at the 5 Civilized Tribes?
Well, that was 1971, the fall of, I believe, or the spring of. It was a student art show. But before then, though, when I was in Santa Fe at the Art Institute, Alan Hauser was my instructor in the sculpting class. And I didn't get to take painting out there because it was always full. So I signed up for the sculpture class, which was Alan Hauser, renowned, internationally known, world-renowned sculptor, Apache artist. This is a duck that I made, and it was actually a soapstone chunk, a piece of soapstone, but he said make something out of it, and so I did. And the shape was the sleeping duck. Is what I came up with. And I still have this from 1971. This is probably the only sculpture I'll ever have.
Really, that's beautiful, though.
I did this when I was 17 years old, 16, 17 years old. And then, so, you know, it was a real interesting place out there in New Mexico. And Sequoia was a pretty good school. I mean, as far as art's concerned, we had a good art instructor. And my award was in the 5 Tribes. It's still in the permanent collection up there, I understand.
Oh, really?
I'd like to see it again. I haven't seen it yet. It's 50 years now.
Wow.
Yes. But it's a Creek Homestead is the name of it. And I was depicting the old log days of our people, 1900, 1890s, 80s. And there was 2 women out there grinding corn and 1 man working in the garden. And when you have all these chickens around, you know, and my first art table was my bed in my bedroom. You know, I didn't have no table to work off of. You know, dinner tables for dinner. You know, I don't mess with that. But my table was my bed.
Wow, wow. Well, you said your grandmother was the first to influence you. Do you have an artist that you looked up to, or that?
Well, growing up, Jon Tiger was big in the 1960s. And I knew Jerome as a kid, and we were both from the West Eufaula Indian Baptist Church. And he was drawing sitting out in the car outside the camp house, drawing in his sketchbook. And maybe I was 6 years old, maybe 7. And he said, "Do you like to draw?" I said, "Yes." And I was embarrassed because, you know, I didn't have the confidence to carry, you know, just pick up a pencil and go. I was just, you know, I always drew for myself as a kid. But Jerome, and I know and Fred Beaver, and growing up it got to be Black Bear Boson, his painting style. But Jerome probably is one of the most influential in me, and a lot of younger ones growing up as well.
Yeah, and he still has. I mean, his price or his artwork is priceless. I mean, they're still very sought after even today. This is a question it may be hard to answer, but maybe not. Maybe you can explain it to me, because this is what I've had people ask me, and it's how do you describe Indian art? Because we hear that, you know, oh, he does Indian art. Well, how is that different than maybe what another artist says? That's not, is it because your theme is Indian or?
Yeah, well, I've heard that question before, and basically, I think it's what it's clarifying is that the art is done by a Native American. That's my take on it.
Yeah.
You can do all kinds. A person can do a painting of Indians or Native people, but the true creator is a native person.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I view it.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, what's your favorite medium as far as art? I mean, what's your?
Right now, it's pencil.
Pencil.
It might change next week.
So you do a little of.
I do acrylic, and I have done oil. I do acrylic, and then the color pencil, and a lot of pencil, watercolor. Do a lot of watercolor.
So if people wanted to see more of your art, what would they need to do? Where would they need to go?
Well, with this virus shutting everybody down, I'm really thinking about going online, and I need to set that up, by the way. But our shows have been canceled all the way up to September. But there's one show in Shawnee, the Labor Day weekend. It's going to be Red Earth. We're still having it at the Grand Casino. So I'll be at Red Earth that weekend, September 4th through the 6th, I believe. And basically, I do a lot of just do the shows that we were doing.
And they can go on Facebook too. It's
yes.
Jon M. Tiger Native Artworks, and it's Jon.
Yes.
So, and he has a lot of his work there on the Facebook page. So be sure to check that out. You mentioned the COVID, and we talked about that with some of our other artists that we talked to about how it's affected people. And people don't realize that this is not just a hobby, this is a livelihood for you. And so how has it impacted, I mean, other than
well, there's a lot of frustration going on with this whole event, and this Saturday, June the 20th, we're having an outdoor art market here in Eufaula at the Posey Park, just right off the Highway 9 as you come into Eufaula. And as of today, we have 26 artists coming in. Good. And they're coming as far as Oklahoma City and Tulsa. And then they're from all different tribes. And as I stated in the news article, that since our show's been shut down and our venue's been shut down and moved around, the Eufaula Canadian Tribal Town decided that we should have an outdoor venue for these artists that are lacking in sales and anything to meet the demand. They're still creating, but it's just no place to show right now. And even the galleries are shutting down.
You'll still be practicing the social distancing and
yes,
and
we'll
whatnot.
have all that. Yes.
So guys, come on down to that. Come and support all the different artists. And I want to remind you, the Facebook page is Jon, Jon Tiger Native Artworks. And we were talking earlier about some of your awards, and we were talking about the 5 civilized tribes, which, if you've never been there, it's a great museum. Are they shut down right now?
I think they are. They may be getting back together, though. I think.
They have a lot of great artwork, and they're very, very helpful to our artists. And this is the one. Well, tell me about it. This
is a miniature. I did a watercolor miniature that I entered at the CSAM show in Chickasaw Nation 2019 in October, and it won an award, first place in miniatures. And this is called the old men. Actually, it's what happens is in our tribe, the 5 tribes, especially Creek tribe, that we had a segment of our people in the village that were revered as leaders, and they could give you advice. They're too old to go out in war or go out and protect the family, but they would be there to give advice. And it's called Beloved Old Men, and I think there's a story about them, and it was written about them in one of the books. And it's just those guys that have just been through everything, and they're old, elder, and they're taken care of. And so I did this miniature in their honor, and it's just no anybody in particular, But
That's cool.
I've got 5 gentlemen there representing the 5 tribes.
Wow.
And this
That's
is
beautiful.
still for sale. It's I think it's 1 inch by 3 inch image.
And this is an original?
This is the original, yes.
Ooh, you guys better grab up on that one. All his information is on his Facebook page on how to contact him, or you can leave messages for him there. I do want to mention that in 2012, you received the Master Artist Award from the 5 Civilized Tribes Museum. And this is a big deal. Its recognition is given to artists who amplify and portray their tribal heritage through visual art and who consistently portray its folklore important to the history of the tribes. And that's what you do, and that's why I've always enjoyed your work. And you know, you're not just an artist, you are a leader in our community. You've been very involved with the Native community, the local community, with the tribal town, and you have really brought a lot to our community, and I just personally want to say thank you for that.
Thank you.
For all of the things that you do and your beautiful artwork. If you wanted to leave some parting words with a young struggling artist or whatever, what would you like to say?
To those that were that are kind of up and coming and you want to show your creativity, take your time doing it, and don't get burnt out and don't get frustrated, because you will make mistakes, and you can rectify those mistakes by just continue your art, singing, playing guitar, painting, drawing. Also, know a little bit of your native history if you can. If you're a native Indian, look up your family tree, know any kind of family stories you may have. Try to draw those, and you're recording your family record. And so just take your time, learn a lot. There's a lot of classes online, I'm sure, with the how to do with watercolor pencils, and if I can be any help, you can just get a hold of me as well.
That's good. Robert says, one artist is doing Zoom session on his works, and that appears to be helping sell them. Something like that. Maybe you could do
Yes.
some stuff on Zoom. Yeah. Well, we appreciate everybody watching today, and John, thank you for coming out and joining
My
us.
pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
I noticed you did say you do commissions. You want to talk
Yes.
about that a little bit?
I do commissions, and basically all I need to really know is what size, what color, and what the subject matter is, and we can go from there.
Right, all right. And do you want to leave a contact number, or just check it out on Facebook? Or?
You can check it out on Facebook, or you can call me at 918-850-3806. I live here in Eufaula, and I'm not hard to find.
Okay, well, thanks, guys, and we appreciate you tuning in. Be with us next Tuesday at 1 o'clock, where we will have do we know who we're going to have yet? We have a surprise guest next week, but we will have someone exciting, and we appreciate you supporting the arts. Check out our information on Eufaula Area Arts on Facebook. If you're interested in becoming a member or being interviewed, let us know. All right, we'll see y'all later.
Thank you.
Bye.